Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, August 17, 2020. Today I'm going to go over the weekend's Stanley Cup playoff games, look ahead to today's games. We'll look at today's NBA playoff slate and pick the games. Go over the weekend's baseball games, look ahead to today's game. Same for the WNBA. We'll go over the golf tournament, the Wyndham from the weekend, the NASCAR races, an NBA coaching change happened, and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll start in hockey, where there was some interesting results to say the least. We'll start from Friday, the 14th. Avs over the Coyotes 3-2 as the Coyotes get on the board in the series. Number 3 started the game with a goal, Andrei Burakovsky. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Nathan MacKinnon. Number 1 started the game with 30 saves on 32 shots, Philip Gaubauer. Colorado went up 2-0 on Friday. Montreal over Philly 5-0 to even up the series at 1. Number 3 started 3-6, Max Domi. Number 2 started the game with 2 goals. Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Number 1 started the game with 2 goals, Thomas Tatar. Canucks over the Blues 4-3 in overtime to take a 2-0 series lead on a goal by Bo Horvat. Number 3 started the game with 2 assists, David Perron. Number 2 started the game with 34 saves on 37 shots, Jacob Markstrom. Number 1 started the game with 2 goals, Bo Horvat. Islanders over the Capitals 5-2 to take a 2-0 series lead. Number 3 started the game with 2 goals, Alex Ovechkin. Number 2 started the game with 2 assists, Gabriel Pago. And the number 1 started the game with the goal, Nick Leddy. Flames over the Stars 2-0 to take a 2-1 series lead. Number 3 started the game with 1 goal, TJ Birdie. Number 2 started the game with the goal, Mikael Backlund. Number 1 started the game, Cam Talbot, with 35 saves on 35 shots. Saturday, Bruins over the Hurricanes 3-1 to take a 2-1 series lead. Tuukka Rask opted out. That's a big loss for the Boston Bruins, but we'll see how Yaroslav Halak does. Let's see if he turns back the clock a little bit here. Number 3 started the game with 2 assists, David Krejci. Number 2 started the game with the goal and assist, Brad Marchand. Number 1 started the game with the goal and assist, Charlie Coyle. Coyotes over the Avalanche 4-2 to get on the board in the series. Sorry about before. It said call leads 2-1, but it said that on the result from Friday as well, so that's what made me think that it was Game 3, but that was a mistake. Colorado won Game 2. This was Game 3 that Arizona won. Number 3 started the game with an assist, Nathan MacKinnon. Number 2 started the game with an assist for the Coyotes, Connor Garland. And the number 1 started the game with 49 saves on 51 shots, Darcy Kemper. Lightning over the Blue Jackets 3-2 to take a 2-1 series lead. Number 3 started the game with an assist, Gustav Nyquist. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Braden Point. Number 1 started the game with a goal, Victor Hedman. Golden Knights over the Blackhawks 2-1 to go up 3-0 in the series. Number 3 started the game with 24 saves on 26 shots, Corey Crawford. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Patrick Brown. And number 1 started the game with 26 saves on 27 shots, Marc-Andre Fleury. Yesterday's results. Isles over the Caps 2-1 in overtime on a goal by Matthew Barzal to go up 3-0 in the series. Number 3 started the game with an assist, John Carlson. Number 2 started the game with an assist, Ryan Pollock. Number 1 started the game with a goal, Matthew Barzal. Stars over the Flames 5-4 in overtime on a goal by John Klingberg to even up the series at 2 apiece. Number 3 started the game with 3 assists, John Klingberg. Alexander Radulov won in overtime. So Klingberg, number 3, started the game with 3 assists. Number 2 started the game with 2 goals and assists, Sam Bennett. Number 1 started the game with a hat trick, Joe Pavelski. Blackhawks over the Golden Knights 3-1 to get on the board in the series. The number 3 started the game with the goal, Shea Theodore. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Matthew Highmore. Number 1 started the game with 48 saves on 49 shots, Corey Crawford. Flyers over the Canadiens 1-0 to take a 2-1 series lead. Number 3 started the game, didn't have a point but played well, Ivan Provorov. Same for the number 2 started the game, Ivan Provorov. And number 1 started the game, 23 saves on 23 shots, Carter Hart. Blues over the Canucks 3-2 in overtime on a goal by Braden Shen to get on the board in the series. Number 3 started the game with the golden assist. Elias Pettersson. Number 2 started the game with 46 saves on 49 shots. Jacob Markstrom in the number 1 started the game with a goal. The overtime winner, Braden Shen. Today, there's 3 games. 3 o'clock NBCSN. You have the Lightning and the Blue Jackets. I'm going to go with Columbus to even up the series at 2 apiece. I don't remember if I went Tampa in 6 or 7. I think I went 7. That's right. FanDuel is under a maintenance program right now. So I'll go by DraftKings numbers for today. And right now on DraftKings, Columbus is plus 140. So give me the Blue Jackets to even up the series at 2 apiece. 5:30 NBCSN, Avs, Coyotes. And go with the Avalanche to go up 3-1. Bounce back spot for them. They're minus 180. And Arizona is plus 159. 8 o'clock NBCSN, Bruins, Hurricanes. Boston's up 2-1 the series. I think Carolina evens it up at 2 apiece tonight. They're at plus 110. So give you the Hurricanes even up at 2 apiece. 10:30 NBCSN, the Blues and the Canucks. I think Blues even up at 2 apiece too. They are minus. So by the way, the Bruins are minus 127. Blues are minus 139. Canucks are plus 120 underdogs. So give me the Blues to even up the series here at 2 apiece. Now we'll move on to the NBA. We'll go over the games from the weekend and look ahead to the playoffs. We'll start with Friday night. Nuggets lose to the Raptors 117-109. The Raptors finish at 53-19. Denver 46-27. Stanley Johnson at 23. PJ Dozier 20. Pacers over the Heat 109-92. Indiana 45-28. Miami 44-29. Doug McDermott at 25. Kendrick Nunn at 23. Clippers over the Thunder 107-103 in overtime. Terrence Mann at 25. Hamidou Diallo had 27. 76ers over the Rockets 134-96. Philly 43-30. Houston 44-28. Tobias Harris at 18. James Harden 27. Saturday was the play-in game in the West. So the Trailblazers came out on top, 126-122 to advance to the NBA playoffs. The Grizzlies won. There would have been an extra game on Sunday for the right to play the Lakers, but the Blazers got it done on Saturday, so they didn't have to play on Sunday. Damian Lillard had 31 points. John Morant had 35. So today starts the playoffs. 1:30 ESPN. You have the Jazz against the Nuggets. The Nuggets are 4.5-point favorites. No Mike Conley due to the birth of his son. Actually, it went up to -5. Mike Conley is worth a 0.5 point to the spread. These two teams are very, very close together in my projected ratings. But without Bogdanovich and without Mike Conley, it goes to 3 points because Bogdanovich is worth 1.5 and Conley's worth 0.5. So for this pick here, I have a 2-point edge on the Jazz. Denver has everybody healthy. So this is very tough. I'm going to take the Jazz plus the 5. Do I feel good about it? No. So I'm going to take the Jazz plus the 5 against Denver. I would also look at the over 215.5 as well, but I do think the Nuggets will win the game straight up. All right, now we'll move on to the next game. The Nets against the Raptors, 4 o'clock on ESPN. Toronto is a 9.5-point favorite. I would make Toronto by 14, but I'm going to see if there's any injuries for the Toronto Raptors. before I make an official pick for the game. Okay, Patrick McCaw, no shade, Brissett, they're nobodies, really. So I have to lay the points here at the Raptors. It's actually 10 on DraftKings. I'd still take it. I make it 14. It's a big edge I have on Toronto. And the money's coming in on Brooklyn. So give me Toronto minus 10 against the Brooklyn Nets. The next game on ESPN is at 6:40 or 6:30 between the Celtics and the 76ers. The Celtics are 6-point favorites. The over-under is 218.5. By the way, 222 for the Nets Raptors. So obviously no Ben Simmons. In my ratings, these two teams are a little closer than you would think. They literally are 3 points apart in my ratings, but subtract 4 because of no Ben Simmons, so that brings it down to 7. So I have a small edge on Boston, but I'm not going to bet it because it's a low number, or it's close, I should say. So I'm going to look to the total at 218.5, and I like the over 218.5 in the game. I do think the Boston Celtics will win the game. 9 o'clock on ESPN, you have the Mavericks and the Clippers. The Clippers are favored by 6 over Dallas. I, for one, would make this line 7.5. In favor, actually no. I'd make this 4. Forgot to do the double division thing. So I would make this a 4-point line. Clippers are favored by 6 over under 229. So I have a small edge on Dallas in this game, but as we know, the Clippers own the Mavericks. The Mavericks getting the 6 is very, very risky. But I like that, but I also like the over 229 as well. So my play for this game, I'm going to make it the over 229. I feel better about that than I do about Dallas getting the 6, although my numbers would suggest that Dallas would be the side here in this game. Okay. Baseball's next. We'll go over the games the scores from the weekend and look ahead to the games for today. We'll start with Friday. Yanks over the Red Sox 10-3. Orioles over the Nats 6-2. Jays over the Rays 12-4. Nats over the O's 15-3. Phils over the Mets 6-5. Reds over the Pirates 8-1. Indians over the Tigers 10-5. Marlins over the Braves 8-2. Brewers over the Cubs 4-3. Rangers over the Rockies 3-2. Astros over the Mariners 11-1. Diamondbacks over the Padres 5-1. Dodgers over the Angels 7-4. Athletics over the Giants 8-7 in 10 innings. And Royals Twins was postponed due to a rainout. Saturday, Cardinals make their dramatic return. They win their first game 5-1 over the White Sox. Twins over the Royals 4-2 in 7, so that was doubleheader game 1. Brewers over the Cubs 6-5 in 10. Doubleheader game 2. Cards over the White Sox 6-3. Doubleheader game 2. Royals over the Twins 4-2. Phillies over the Mets 6-2. Indians over the Tigers 3-1. Braves over the Marlins 2-1. A resumption of a suspended game. Rays over the Blue Jays. Oh, that resumed on August 16th, but this was an August 15th game. It's a 3-2 final. A's over the Giants 7-6. Mariners lose to the Astros 2-1. Orioles over the Nationals 7-3. Yankees over the Red Sox 11-5. Diamondbacks over the Padres 7-6. Rangers over the Rockies 6-4. Dodgers over the Angels 6-5 in 10 innings. Pirates Reds postponed due to a positive test on the Reds. The Reds could very well be returning into action on Tuesday, as there was only one positive. So at least it wasn't an outbreak like the other two teams that had them. Sunday, we talked about the Rays Blue Jays resumptive game. Indians over the Tigers 8-5. Nats over the Orioles 6-5. Phils over the Mets 6-2. Braves over the Marlins 4-0. White Sox over the Cardinals 7-2. Astros over the Mariners 3-2. Twins over the Royals 4-2. Brewers over the Cubs 6-5. Rockies over the Rangers 10-6. Rays over the Blue Jays 7-5 in an 8-inning game. I wonder if that was due to the makeup, the suspended game. A's over the Giants 15-3. Diamondbacks over the Padres 5-4. Dodgers over the Angels 8-3, and Yankees over the Red Sox 4-2 on Sunday Night Baseball. Today's games at 5:15, game one of a doubleheader, the Cardinals and the Cubs. Kwang Hyun Kim against Kyle Hendricks. Kim 0-0 with a 9 ERA whip of 2. Hendricks 3-1 with a 3.08 ERA whip of .99. 7 o'clock, Red Sox Yankees. Martin Perez and Jordan Montgomery. Perez 2-2 with a 3.38 ERA whip of 1.22. Montgomery 2-1 with a 5.17 ERA whip of 1.15. Blue Jays Orioles. Yeah, we didn't do that one. That's why I said it like that. Hyunjin Ryu and Alex Cobb. Ryu 1-1 with a 4.05 ERA whip of 1.25. Cobb 1-1 2.75 ERA whip of 1.07. Nationals Braves. Anibal Sanchez and Tuki Toussaint. Sanchez 0-3 9.69 ERA whip of 2.15. Toussaint 0-1 with a 7.27 ERA whip of 1.21. Mets Marlins. This is a big series for the Mets that they need to get right here. Roberto Gesellman against Yamamoto. Jordan Yamamoto, no decisions, both pitchers. Gesellman ERA of 9, whip of 1.67. Yamamoto 9.82 ERA, whip of 2.05. 8 o'clock, Tigers White Sox. Matt Boyd and Gio Gonzalez. Boyd 0-2 the 10.24 ERA, whip of 1.97. Gonzalez 0-1 the 6.61 ERA, whip of 2.08. Royals Twins. Chris Bubick and Matt Whistler. Bubick 0-2 with the 5.4 ERA, whip of 1.2. Whistler 1 with the 1.8 ERA, whip of 1.1. 8:15, Cubs Cardinals, Game 2 doubleheader. No announcement regarding starting pitching in the game. 9 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, the Padres and the Rangers. Zach Davies against Jordan Lyles. Davies 2-2 with a 2.78 ERA, whip of .84. Lyles 1-1 with a 6.06 ERA, whip of 1.65. We go with the Padres here. Minus 120. I think it should be bigger against the Rangers. Davies has been really good for San Diego. Milwaukee's probably regret giving him away in that trade as of right now. So give me Zach Davies and the Padres on the road against Jordan Lyles and the Rangers. 9:10, the Rockies and the Astros. Kyle Freeland and Brendan Bielak. Freeland and Bielak are both 2-0. Freeland ERA 2.45, whip of 1.09. Bielak 1.76 ERA, whip of 1.24. 9:40, A's Diamondbacks. Chris Bassett and Zach Gallen. Bassett 2-0 with a 2.42 ERA, whip of .9. Gallen, no decisions with a 2.74 ERA, whip of 1.17. The Diamondbacks, after a slow start, are back to 500. Giants Angels. Tyler Anderson and Griffin Canning. Anderson 0-1 to 3.63 ERA, whip of 1.5. Canning 0-3 to 4.42 ERA, whip of 1.58. Mariners Dodgers. Justin Dunn, Ross Stripling. Dunn 1-1 with a 4.85 ERA, whip of 1.62. Stripling 3-1 to 3.97 ERA, whip of 1.63. 1-5. Alrighty, now we'll go over the WNBA from the weekend, and we'll look ahead to the slate tonight. Sun over the Sky, 77-74. Dewana Bonner at 19. Cheyenne Parker, 17. Connecticut, 4-6. Chicago, 6-4. Storm over the Wings, 83-65. Seattle, and WNBA best 9-1. Dallas, 3-7. Brown Stewart had 21, and Enrique Angambali had 22. Mercury over the Dream, 96-80. Mercury, 6-4. Dream, 2-8. Bendeja Lanny, 16 for Atlanta. Bria Hartley at 24 for Phoenix. Oh, yeah, it was Friday. Yeah, Friday's done. Saturday. Sorry for the confusion there. Lynx over to Liberty, 94-64. Minnesota, 7-3. New York, 1-9. Nafisa Collier at 26. Jasmine Jones, 13. Aces over to Mystics, 88-73. The Mystics, 8-2. Washington, 3-7. Jackie Young had 16. Ariel Atkins had 17. Sparks over to Fever, 90-76. Fever, 73. The Sparks are 7-3 to Fever, 4-6. Kelsey Mitchell, 25. Rakina Williams had 21. Sunday, Wings over to Mercury, 95-89. Dallas, 4-7. Phoenix, 6-5. Enrique Angambali had 33. Brittany Griner had 29. Storm over the Sun, 95-72. The Storm continued to dominate a WNBA best 10-1. Connecticut, 4-7. Brown Stewart had 19. Jasmine Thomas had 17. Sky over the Dream, 92-67. Chicago, 7-4. Atlanta, 2-9. Cheyenne Parker, 17. Courtney Williams had 15. No WNBA today, so we'll get back on that and go over games on tomorrow's show. Now we'll go over the Wyndham Championship from the weekend in golf. And your winner of that tournament was Jim Herman, 21 under. Very impressive. Second place, Billy Horschel, 20 under. Tied for third, Webb Simpson and Doc Redmond, -18, as well as Saiwoo Kim. And Kevin Kisner, too, with 18 under. Tied for 7th, Zach Johnson and Harold Varner III with 17 under. Tied for 9th with 16 under, Sanjay M., Patrick Reed, Dylan McCarthy, and Russell Henley. Tied for 13th with 15 under, Tyler Duncan and Sam Burns. Tied for 15th with 14 under, Bud Cawley, Cameron Davis, Mark Hubbard, and Rob Oppenheim. Tied for 20th with 13 under, Dylan Fratelli, Chris Baker, and Peter Malnati. Tied for 23rd with 12 under, Harris English and Shane Lowry. Tied for 25th with 11 under, Ryan Amore and Taylor Gooch. Tied for 27th with 10 under, Brian Harmon, Tom Hodge, Will Gordon, and Seamus Power. 31st with 9 under, Adam Long, Wesley Bryant, Jason Duffner, Roger Sloan, Paul Casey, and Ryan Brem. Tied for 37th with 8 under, Rafa Cabrera-Bello, Vincent Whaley, Matt Jones, Christian Biedenhout, and Christopher Ventura. Tied for 42nd with 7 under is a big tie. Scott Stallings, Joaquin Neiman, Andrew Landry, Brant Snecker, Scott Brown, Matthew Naismith, Hank Labodia, Bo Hoag, and Matthias Schwab. Tied for 51st with 6 under, Adam Schenk, Brian Stewart, Patton Kizer, Tom Lewis, Chris Kirk, Davis Lowe III, or Love III, Chesson Headley, and Kramer Hickok. Tied for 59th with 5 under, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Every, Ben Martin, Michael Giglick, Josh Teeter, Henrik Norlander, and Troy Merritt. Tied for 66 with 4 under, Luke List, Sergio Garcia, and Patrick Rogers. Tied for 69th with 3 under, C.T. Pan, Brinson Paolini, and Scott Piercy. Tied for 2nd with 2 under, Jordan Spieth and Russell Knox. Tied for 74th with 1 over, Austin Cook, Sebastian Munoz, Peter Uihlein. 77th with 6 over, Nate Lashley. There's some big names cut. Chester V, Brendan Todd, Danny Lee, J.J. Spawn, Matt Wallace. My awful pick of Justin Rose, J.T. Potson. You got Brooks Koepka cut. That was not good. Brandon Van Pelt. Stuart Kink. Bo Van Pelt. So you have some big names there that were cut. And then this upcoming weekend you have the Northern Trust, which we'll preview and predict on the podcast. We'll give you a pick on Wednesday, and then we'll do leaderboards on Thursday and Friday. And good news is that Tiger Woods will be playing in this course, and obviously this will be taking place in Boston. So this should be a good tournament coming up on starting on Thursday. Now we'll go over NASCAR from the weekend. We'll start in the Truck Series, where they did the Daytona Road Course. So your winner for the Truck Series was Sheldon Creed. So he gets the big win at Daytona. Coming in second place was Brett Moffitt. Third, Raphael Lesser. Fourth, Matt Crafton. Fifth, Austin Hill. Sixth, Tyler Ingram. Seventh, Grant Effinger. Eighth, Parker Klingerman. Ninth, Scotty Lagasse Jr. 10th, Stuart Friesen. The rest of the results: Austin Wayne Self, Christian X, Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes, Tanner Gray, Tyler Hill, Spencer Boyd, Brian Collier, Tate Fogelman, Natalie Decker, Johnny Sauter, Alex Tangolini, Mike Skeen, Tim Vaines, Chris Wright, Corey Roper, Norm Benning, Carson Hosvar, Cody Rohrbach, Derek Kraus, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Ty Majeski, Todd Gilliland, Spencer Davis, Jordan Anderson, Mark Smith, Robbie Kennedy, and Roger Roos. And now for the Xfinity results from Daytona. Your winner has been Mr. Dominant in the Xfinity Series, Austin Cindric. In second was Brandon Jones. Third, Noah Gragson. Fourth, A.J. Allmendinger. Fifth, Andy Lally. Sixth, Jeremy Clements. Seventh, Riley Herbst. Eighth, of my pick of Harrison Burton. Ninth, Justin Allgaier. 10th, Matt Snyder. The rest of the results: Ryan Sieg, Josh Bilicki, Tommy Joe Martins, Bailey Curry, Michael Annette, Jade Buford, Kyle Weatherman, Jesse Little, Scott Heckert, BJ McLeod, Stephen Lake, Matt Mills, Cody Vanderwall, Josh Williams, Mike Wallace, Joe Graf Jr., Alex Labb, Brandon Godvick, Chase Briscoe, Bobby Roos, Preston Pardis, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Earl Bamber, Brandon Brown, Harold Crooms, Ross Chasen, Daniel Hemrick, and a disappointing last place finish for Dustin Haley. And now to the Cup Series results from yesterday, and the winner was my pick of Chase Elliott. He was a 4-1 co-favorite to win the race, and this was my first correct NASCAR pick in a couple of weeks. Second place, Denny Hamlin. Third place, Martin Truex Jr. Fourth, Jimmy Johnson. Good finish for him. Fifth, Chris Buescher. Sixth, Clint Boyer. Seventh, Kaz Gralla. That's a surprising 7th place finish there. 8th, William Byron. 9th, Joey Logano. 10th, Michael McDowell. Rest of the results: Eric Jones, Alec Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Matt DiBenedetto, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kevin Harvick, Tyler Riddick, Ryan Newman, Ty Dillon, Chris Bell, Cole Custer, Ryan Preece, Eric Almirola, Bubba Wallace, Matt Kenseth, Daniel Suarez, Brennan Poole, Timmy Hill, James Davison, Ryan Blaney, Corey LaJoie, Quinn Half, J.J. Yealy, John Hunter Nemechek, Garrett Smithley, Kyle Busch, Stanton Barrett, Brendan Gaugman. So, and by the way, shout out to Dan Wheeler, who went to the race on Sunday. Obviously, he came on my podcast about over a month ago for Bracket of Glory. So, shouts to him because he was able to go to the race. Before Best Bet, I want to address an NBA coaching firing. The Pelicans have fired Alvin Gentry. This, to me, isn't all that surprising. To me, Gentry was a coach that was under a lot of pressure to get his team to the postseason. Expectations were galore. Zion Williamson in town. And obviously they didn't perform, and they didn't get it done in the bubble, and he loses his job and result of it. This is the best job in the NBA, in my opinion, that is currently available. The thing that kind of sucks about being a bubble team is that some of these lottery teams have advantages already in their coaching searches, although the Knicks made their choice of Tom Thibodeau. The Bulls have fired Jim Boylan, and that was inevitable, which we talked about on the show last week. So Alvin Gentry fired. I'd say the candidates are Kenny Atkinson, obviously. Maybe Mark Jackson or Jeff Van Gundy, although I think it's more likely that they're candidates for the Rockets. Maybe Jason Kidd. Maybe an assistant on Milwaukee's or Toronto's staff. Because the hot assistants has been the way to go. Not necessarily have the big name headliner, unlike what the Knicks did. And although Kenny Atkinson fits the latter bill, and that, to me, obviously, as I said in the podcast, would be an excellent fit for the Knicks. And I think the Bulls are crazy if they don't hire Kenny Atkinson, because that's the perfect team for him as well. Although he'd be a good fit in New Orleans, too. So it should be interesting to see who they look at to be their new head coach. And then the Sacramento Kings made a front office change. Firing, Vlade Divac. There's reports out there saying that he quit, but other people are saying that he was a bubble casualty. That is not surprising. The Kings stink, and they've stunk for a long time, although they are heading in the right direction. They finally do have some core pieces. Marvin Bagley and De'Aaron Fox are there. And they have another lottery pick coming. I heard candidates to replace Vlade Divac. There's going to be some interesting ones. There's going to be guys that work under Daryl Morey. There's going to be guys that work under Sam Presti that will be talked about. And a name that I heard thrown out there is New York Knicks general manager Scott Perry. That should not be the hire. He's done terrible with the Knicks. He was terrible with the Magic. He just looks good because he was a part of that staff of the team or the organization of that Pistons team that won the 2004 championship over Kobe and the Lakers. So, to me, Scott Perry would be a horrible choice for Sacramento. I would choose somebody under Morey, or maybe look under Sam Presti. Joe Dumars is the interim executive of basketball ops. Obviously, Dumars, like Scott Perry, looks good because of that 2004 Pistons team. But he did terrible after that Pistons run. So I wouldn't hire Joe Dumars to be the permanent guy either. So it's going to be interesting to see who the Kings pick to replace Vlade Divac and the Bulls and Pelicans hire for their new head coaches. And I think there's more to come, as you could have heard on my predictions podcast. But take a listen to that to see who else I think could be bubble casualties. All right, my best bet of the day, brought to you by DraftKings. Obviously, FanDuel is under maintenance, so I have to go to DraftKings for my best bet today. And I'm going to go with the Toronto Raptors laying the points against Brooklyn. Do I feel good about it? Not really. But I do think it's a solid bet. I could have gone baseball, but it's the first day of the NBA playoffs, so I have to safely go with a basketball playoff game. I think it should be 14. I'm getting points of value here with Toronto, so I'm laying the 10. Here is Toronto. And I actually have a little bit of a bonus here if they cover, a profit boost that I used on DraftKings that I somehow got. So I got it at plus 122 odds due to this bonus I received. So there you have it. Best bet, Toronto minus 10 against the Brooklyn Nets in Game 1. That's it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, baseball, looking ahead to tomorrow as well as the WNBA. I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.